Welcome to JSA TV, the newsroom for telecom and data center professionals. I'm Barb Mitchell, joining you today live from the floor of PTC 23 in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. And I'm joined today with an amazing group of global game changers. That's what we're calling you today, focused on all sorts of things around development and sustainability and for important things for our industry. I'd like to, first of all, of course, we know Dean Nelson, CEO of Cato, Jeff Barber, Vice President, Global Data Centers for Bloom Energy, and Johnson Agogbua, CEO and founder of Kasi Cloud. It's so great to have all of you with us today. Johnson, we're going to start with you, if you wouldn't mind. I'd love to hear about, what brings you to work with these two fine gentlemen and their organizations, and what's the project you're working on in Lagos, Nigeria?
Indeed, these are amazing human beings, and our paths have crossed quite a bit from the early days of the internet, from equipment side on the Sun days, from Sun Micro days, and the days at EMC. I grew up on the internet backbone, building infrastructure. So most recently at Facebook, we decided, my co-founder and I, to focus on Africa because it's the least attended continent when it comes to digital platform. And Kasi is focused on bringing sustainable interconnection and data center platform at scale to Africa, all of Africa. We're starting in Lagos. We're developing 60 megawatts critical IT campus in Lagos. And we're going to deploy across all of Nigeria. The hyperscalers are just having a hard time penetrating Africa. And we're going to create that easy button for them. And we're going to do it sustainably. Two things that's important for us, right? We're going to deploy green. We're going to operate green. And we're going to operate at scale, and it's going to be accretive for all of our tenants.
Amazing, yeah. And I can't wait to hear your parts of this. Dean, we'll start with you. Can you talk about how Cato is getting involved in this? What's your role?
Yeah, so Johnson invited me back over to Lagos in October last year, and we launched bare metal. So there's a foundry that's set up to be able to now enable carbon-free compute in Africa already, because there's no cloud in Nigeria, no cloud deployment. So you have to go to South Africa or Dublin and other places. And so we met with a bunch of different enterprises and integrators and companies like that, and the demand. There's tens of thousands of merchants and larger enterprises that are looking for solutions, but the challenge they have is there's nothing local, and they can't pay in their currency. So what we're doing is bringing in low-cost carbon-free compute into the foundry as the launch point back into this hyperscale data center. It's going to be opening at the end of this year. So I look at that as, you talk about starting green, operating green, right, and going to scale. This is about hyperscale deployments of bare metal for hybrid clouds that are going to be turning up and accelerating the economics within Nigeria itself as the first step towards what we do across Africa. So a little bit excited about how this is going to turn out, because we're going after it. And one other thing I think it's really important, the IMESon's Climate Accord, we're all going towards carbon reduction and digital infrastructure. So whether it's the data center, the design, how these things are coming together, to the kit that's actually operating in it, we're going after scope 3. Scope 3 is the difficult problem for anybody to solve. We're hitting that day one.
So you're going into the market, you're going into Africa, but you're doing it right from the beginning, and
because it's the beginning. Like you can actually set it up the right way and move where it's very difficult once you've actually rolled something out.
Right.
So
what about you? What about Bloom?
What about Bloom? What an absolutely perfect opportunity. I think you just touched on a great topic there. Essentially, when you have the opportunity to skip over legacy architecture, in this example, centralized grid, you can skip over that and go right to on-site microgrid power generation, already sustainable, much more predictable than the existing grid in Lagos. The availability is not quite where the hyperscalers need it to be. With Bloom Energy, we're able to create green energy on-site directly into the critical facility at 5 nines of availability. Right? That's what they expect. So right from day one, we're starting green with Cato. and with Kasi. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And in addition, I think that you can deliver power directly to reduce waste. Is there a data center solution that Bloom's providing from that perspective?
Oh, absolutely. We don't combust anything, and I should point out that we're in preliminary design phases, so I can't share any exact
Secret
specifics.
Secrets,
No secret sauce, and no complete commitments yet. However, we are designing a system that will have full carbon capture from Bloom, a system that runs on natural gas but is ready for hydrogen when distribution is there. So the Bloom energy servers produce far less than a typical utility would, especially in the Lagos region. So it's much greener from day one, ready to be carbon free from day one. Right. Yep.
Well, what a powerful group that you have all come together to collaborate on this. And Johnson, it's been really great to, this is our first time actually, on an interview like this together. So what are you most excited about, working with these fine companies?
Well, they are innovators, they are creators, and they are really amazing thinkers in our space. To take that to Africa, to create green infrastructure, greenfield infrastructure, that's quite powerful. Africa notoriously runs on diesel. And if you look at Nigeria ranks anywhere 9th or 10th in methane emission in the world, right? Let's go change that. Another point that's really important in Africa is let's make the most of what's in Africa. In Nigeria, there's a lot of gas, right?
Yeah.
Let's consume it, but let's not produce carbon. Let's capture it and let's do something really good with it. The next item is Nigeria, Africa, sub-Saharan Africa does not have digital platforms. There's no cloud other than in South Africa, right? When you start moving to cloud, do it sustainably, right? You have an opportunity to hit scope 3 right now, not later on, not retrofitting it. And Cato is already solving that problem. Now, when you bring Bloom and Cato together in sub-Saharan Africa, you can change the game and you can begin to think scale. And for us, hitting scale while minimizing the carbon footprint, in fact, making it disappear, that's a game changer. That's the right way to build in Africa. That's what Kasi is doing.
Right. Any final words from either of you? I know, Dean, this fits so nicely into all the work that you do at iMasons, obviously with the Climate Accord and greener data. You're the global directory of sustainably practiced and committed companies. Anything you want to add, or any of you, as you think about, we only have, I think, a day and a half left here. It's going so fast and it's so busy. How have the conversations been, and is there anything, just sort of parting words on that front?
Yeah, from my perspective, I look at Africa as kind of like the future, because 1.3 billion, almost 1.4 billion people. I think they're the largest population on the planet now. They just surpassed China. And if you think about the infrastructure that's deployed there, it reminds me of India 4 years ago. India had 400 megawatts total across the entire country.
Yeah.
So Africa doesn't have hyperscale data centers and capacity already. This is the boom time. And so, as we were saying, being able to go in and help them leapfrog, where a lot of other infrastructure that's deployed is very difficult to go change right now.
Right.
Doing it right from the beginning will change the game across the board. I totally agree with what Johnson was saying. But the other thing that I'm going to give you a little shout out on this, Cassie's actually doing more than just building data centers and that. They're actually taking the talent within the country, developing the talent, helping them get into digital infrastructure, learning this. So the scholarship programs in alignment with that. The whole point of the Climate Accord, what we're doing with education, it's about the whole thing in that country. The country needs it, the world needs it, and we can set an example of how this should be done.
Yeah, perfect. It's amazing how all of these conversations converge globally. I'm hearing similar things. We've been in, and I've seen you in, all of you in a lot of these places, and whether we're in Monaco or France or London or Africa, and here in Hawaii, the conversations start to really come together. And I think I love that you're doing this right, as you've all said, right from the beginning, and helping to build the right picture, the right infrastructure for the market. So thank you. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. And thank you,
Thank you
viewers,
so
for
much.
tuning in to JSA TV Live here at PTC 23. Mahalo.